Hi everyone, I'm Nate Law and I'm looking forward to talking to you today about 5 low-cost ways you can market your law firm. Now as we jump into that here today, be sure to like and subscribe below and feel free to leave me any comments on these ideas as we go along. So let's dive into number one. Number one is join an industry adjacent group. Now as lawyers, sometimes we get so caught up in our profession of being lawyers and involved in the nitty-gritty details of either a case or the law or our clients or court and judges and other attorneys that we forget what we even look like to the quote-unquote outside world. But joining an industry adjacent group to your niche practice is one thing that is going to get you out of that mindset and help you look at your firm as more of an actual business and look at it through the lens and the eyes of other professionals. And when we're talking about industry adjacent groups, I mean things that are very common to a certain group of people. So if you look at your set of ideal customer, ideal client, what are the other things that are already involved in or needing, and who are the other professionals that are already maybe involved in their lives? If you're an estate planning or wills and trusts attorney, this might be something like a group of investment professionals, CPAs, for instance, some of the groups that they're involved in. If you're in personal injury, for instance, then an obvious one would be something like a group of insurance professionals or either adjusters or brokers, for instance. And you might think, well, I don't have that much interest in these areas, or these are professionals who don't have a lot in common with me, are going to kind of look at me a little sideways and think, why are you even here? But that can actually be a really good benefit to being in one of these groups, because you're going to be kind of the odd person out. And people are going to kind of wonder, why are you here? And that's an opportunity for you to show them your passion and your expertise in your area and how you might be able to help some of the same people that they're passionate about helping. Other industry adjacent professional groups I would include in this things like local chamber of commerce, area chamber of commerces, whether it's your county level or your city level, and as well as other things like Business International, or things that are focused on referrals within professionals. Those can be very, very specific things. Those ones are going to cost you a little bit of money, but it's going to be pretty minimal, because if you think of in terms of your billable hour rate, let's say you're charging $300 an hour. Well, if an annual fee for one of these groups is $400 and you look at it that way, you're going to be able to make a lot more on that investment. And it's not going to be an investment that breaks the bank. Okay, number 2 in the low-cost marketing ideas is really just to hang out with lawyers that are not in your practice area. Now this can be tough because they may not be the people that you always associate with or know on a day-to-day basis through your work, but they are the people who are going to give you ultimately the best long-term word-of-mouth referrals. How many times have you gotten a phone call from a friend, a relative, because they know you're a lawyer, and maybe they don't even live in the same state as you or something, but they're like, hey, can you help me with this? And you're like, no. I'm this kind of lawyer. I'm not the kind of lawyer you're looking for. I can't do everything for you. Or you just get a call from just through a Google listing from your website or something that says, hey, can you help me with this issue? And you don't even have somebody to refer this person to. You want to be helpful, but you don't even have a referral. Think about it in that kind of mindset of you being this other person who can be a resource to lawyers in other areas, who can step up and say, hey, just so you know, I would love to help any of your clients if you ever run into this kind of issue, or if you need help referring them to the right person, I would love to help you out with that. You can help those other lawyers look good, and that's really going to make them more likely to want to talk to you. So how do you do that? How do you find these other lawyers who aren't in your practice area? One way, in addition to the getting into an industry adjacent group that they might be a part of, might just be to simply ask the people that you know already who might be in your same niche practice area to say, hey, do you know some lawyers in these areas that are local? Who's a good person for me to talk to? And just start there and take them to lunch or coffee. This is low cost, doesn't require a lot of follow-up, but you're going to follow up with them if you want this to be a relationship that can benefit both of you for both of your clients. And hey, if you're just starting out and you're like, man, I can't even afford to take other attorneys to lunch, think about this. Say, hey, I'm just learning. Can I shadow you to court one day? Can I pick your brain on this or that? You may not even have to offer to take them out to lunch or coffee, but find a way to make sure that you get in with them in a way that fits in with their schedule, their needs, something natural for them. That brings us to number 3, volunteer. Now, time is money, and so it's low cost in terms of money. I recognize it's still a valuable use of your time, but it's going to double as something that both helps you learn and gives you practice, as well as gives back to your community, back to people in need. And volunteering for me, what it first looked like when I started out was volunteering at a low-cost family law program when I knew very little about family law, but knew that was one area I was kind of considering. And what that did is it gave me a lot of practice with individual clients and being able to have some supervision and some feedback on that from the program director, develop a relationship with the program director, and eventually through other volunteers and people at that program, eventually later getting a lot of referrals for clients that were actually in a different area that I ended up working in. And so that's something that can be valuable over the long term if you're sticking with a volunteer program that's consistent and that you just really become known both for your professionalism, but also for just kind of your personality and how you work with people. Because that's going to make people that see you in action when you're volunteering a lot more likely to refer people to you. And like I mentioned to you earlier, even if you're volunteering in an area of law or just complete even non-law where people are kind of interested, like, why are you here? But it's just a personal passion for you. Again, I think that makes you stand out a little bit more and gets people interested in who you are and why you're there and want to know you more as a person as well as a professional. So number 4 is one of the most hard and difficult things, I think, for any individual to do, regardless of your profession, and that is express your passion and your why for what you do in your work on a day-to-day basis. Tell people your passion. And this is sometimes kind of awkward to do, but it's, again, goes beyond kind of an elevator speech kind of phraseology or speech making, but it's just saying, well, I'm excited when I get to do X, and talk about kind of the result you give, not the how you do it, not even maybe by being a lawyer, but I just love it when I can bring hope to a person in a difficult situation. I love it when I can bring clarity to someone who is having a tough time making a decision. Break it down on a more human level, less of a legal one. I think what that does for people that are listening is that they sense your genuine desire to help people, and it gives them more trust, frankly, because if you are excited about what you do, they are going to want to trust their friends, their relatives, their people that they want to impress with you because you are appearing impressive to them. It impresses upon people that you're passionate about what you're meant to be doing and what you do on a day-to-day basis. If other lawyers, friends, family, relatives, if the people you run into on a daily basis know what you're passionate about, they're also going to not refer you the kind of clients that would not match with you or the ones that you are not going to want. And so it acts as a natural funnel, and it makes it so that your time doesn't get wasted by crummy referrals that just end up not going anywhere, not for you or for the potential client, because the people that you've spoken with about your passion know the types of person or the type of situation that is best going to mesh with your skills, your personality, and your style of work. I think the key to remember there is that proven passion impresses people more than potential expertise. I'm just going to say that again because I feel like that's so helpful to people feeling like a little bit of an imposter syndrome. And that's just that a proven passion is something that is more impressive to people than potential expertise. So next, and this is probably one of the most key things to get in a habit of doing early, or if you haven't started doing this because you're too afraid to, then here you go. This is it. Last one, ask for Google reviews. Do it. It's not begging. Trust me. So it's going to feel like it if you've never asked for a review before. But if you truly believe that you've helped this person, and maybe this person, this client, has even told you, man, I really appreciate the way you handled my case. I really appreciate the way that you spoke to me. Some people will say, oh yeah, I'd refer you to all my friends. Well, great, do it. Take them up on it. It's not going to take much of their time, but you need to have a system in place to do it. And that'll be the topic for another video. But ask for online, specifically Google reviews. That is going to be the best, easiest, cheapest way to start to get online trust, build an online reputation that is free. You don't have to pay for fancy pay-per-click ads. You don't have to do any special SEO for this. You don't have to have a tech person to be able to do this. All you have to do is have that relationship with your client that you've already established, and that is going to then launch forward into getting more clients. Usually the best way to ask for a Google review, if you've never done this before, is basically at the end of the case saying, hey, I was so glad to have a chance to help you. Congratulations on your case being complete, or whatever the situation is, and say, could I ask a little favor of you that would really help me out a lot? Because it gives the client an opportunity to kind of give back to you, and for them to feel empowered and important that they are actually doing something that doesn't cost them anything to be able to help you out, both as a person and as a professional. So what all these 5 low-cost ideas for marketing your law firm hit on in one way or another is 3 kind of key areas. One is other professionals that are maybe non-lawyers, and it gets you in that kind of market, referrals from that area. The other is from other lawyers. And the third is direct clients, especially with the Google reviews. Potential direct clients are going to see that. So these 5 low-cost ideas really hit all 3 of those areas and help start developing a really good base for your marketing for the long term. By following some of these steps, what I've found for me in my practice is that following some of these actually makes me a better lawyer. Just in the regular practice that I do, it makes me a better communicator with my clients. If I know that either at some point throughout the case or at the end of the case, I'm going to be asking this client to give me a review on Google, I'm going to want to do a stand-up job. I may be even more cognizant of saying, oh, I'm going to take this extra little step, make this extra communication, check in, proofread one more time. I'm going to make this excellent. And it's just that little bit of edge of even more motivation, even more than all of us type A lawyers, can be in wanting to get things just right and perfect for our clients. It provides even more motivation, makes us better lawyers. And the one bonus key I'll give you for all of these tips and ideas and whatever idea you choose to implement, and that is that consistency is key. Consistently implementing these practices over time, that focus over time, is what's going to bring results. And that's the one thing that most lawyers don't do. We all know ways that we can market our firm. We all know certain things that are going to work, but we don't stay consistent with them. And so that's the behavior part behind this that you really have to remember, is that the focused intensity over a long period of time and that consistency, whether it's relationships with other professionals, consistently asking for Google reviews, being consistent and showing up at that volunteer event regularly, whatever it is going to be the thing that really makes these ideas effective over the long haul. What other ways have you found that are great low-cost ways to market your law firm? Leave me a comment in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe, like this video, and I'll really look forward to more discussions with you about how to get more clients and market your firm in the future.